Hi everyone, good morning. Thanks so much for joining today's session. My name is Luzanne Lottering and I'm the marketing manager here at Cardiolog Analytics, and I will go ahead and kick things off today. Today's webinar is about gamification and SharePoint, how gamification improves adoption rates. First, a bit of housekeeping. This webinar is being recorded, so if you do want to share this with a colleague, we'll send an email with the recording after today's session. And of course, if you have any questions, we will leave some time towards the end of this webinar for questions and for a quick Q&A session. So you can send those questions through the questions box, and you'll see it right there on your screen within the GoToWebinar panel. And then you can also connect with us on Twitter with the Twitter handle @Cardiolog. In regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we'll start out with a very short introduction. I will talk a bit about Cardiolog Analytics and who we are. And then I'll talk more about what gamification even is. Give you a bit of an overview of gamification, and then I'll jump into a presentation of Gamify and show you exactly how to leverage it. And then we'll talk about those all-important benefits of Gamify and how the focus is especially on the end user. And at the end, like I mentioned, we'll be taking some Q&A, so feel free to send your questions throughout the course of this presentation. A brief introduction. Cardiolog Analytics has been around for about 16 years now, since 2005. We are based out of Boston, and over the past 14 years, we've been focused on analytics designed for SharePoint and now Microsoft 365. Our flagship solution is Cardiolog Analytics, and it's built specifically for internal platforms, including all versions of SharePoint from 2010 to 2019, as well as SharePoint Online and Microsoft 365, including Yammer, Teams, OneDrive, Exchange, and so on. Our solution is available both on-prem and as well as a SaaS version based on Power BI. So just a little bit about our vision as a company. We've been working with our customers for about 16 years now, as I've mentioned, and this slide shows our evolution. Our goal is to help our customers constantly improve SharePoint based on how it's being used. So there are 3 pillars that we talk to our customers about. The first pillar is monitoring activity, which is basically tracking the usage within SharePoint with in-depth intranet analytics, insights, and usage reports. Our customers realize that understanding usage analytics is often simply not enough. They wanted a way to take action based on the insights gained from monitoring their portal usage. The second pillar is engaging users, asking them what their needs are, what their pain points are, and what's not working for them. And then finally, the most important pillar is enhance. We want to make sure that we are constantly improving SharePoint based on these pillars. And the idea is to have actionable metrics which will allow us to constantly make SharePoint better for our users by increasing corporate productivity and improving portal ROI, that all-important ROI. So here is a brief overview of our various analytics and employee engagement solutions. Our flagship product is Cardiolog Analytics. This is available both as an on-prem and as a SaaS solution. Cardiolog Engage, a great interactive solution for sending internal communication campaigns across the SharePoint portal and Microsoft 365 platforms such as Teams in order to engage with your users. So with Engage, you can connect with your users to know what their needs are, what their pain points are, what's not working for them, maybe launch surveys and dig deep to understand from directly getting these insights from the users, which you can use to improve various aspects of the portal. And then finally, what we are talking about today, Gamify, We will focus a lot of our presentation today on how implementing gamification into your SharePoint and Microsoft 365 environments will boost adoption and productivity. Let's take a few steps back and talk a little bit about what gamification even is. What does that mean? What does it entail? How do you leverage gamification? So gamification focuses the design of tools back to its most important element, which is the end user. Through the use of gaming mechanics and logic, gamification enables a shift towards human-focused design and can make work fun and meaningful while at the same time fostering adoption, collaboration, and productivity. Employees that receive regular individual recognition and rewards for doing good work are responsible for 10% to 20% increase in revenue and productivity, according to a Gallup recent study a few years back. So when we talk about games or this virtual world, I think it's important for us to take a step back and ask ourselves, how do we get so consumed? How many of you played games or even still play games till this day? Gamification is the process of adding game-like mechanics to other contexts in order to motivate or engage users. Game-like elements can include competitive tasks, goals, leaderboards, points, and anything else you might find in a typical game. The goal of gamification is to frame a non-game task as a game in order to make the task more appealing to users and to motivate the users more to do that task. So by bringing gamification techniques into the workplace, companies can engage their employees more, resulting in the success factors that I mentioned: higher productivity, better customer retention, and low turnover rates. Gamification motivates employees to be more productive and engage in SharePoint, boosting SharePoint adoption and creating a better ROI for your company. Let me show you Gamify in action before I go into more detail about gamification. So I want to start here with our administrator dashboard. This report gives the administrators an overview of how their groups and users are performing within the organization and what their scores are. So at the top, you can see the total of adopted users as well as adopted groups. Then if we look here at current round, this is the period of time set by the admin. For example, a round of a game could be 30 days if they've decided that. So then days left would then be how many days are left in that specific round. But this is all set by the admin according to what works best for that organization. Then at the bottom here, we see a list of the most adopted groups as well as their scores. Here are my different groups. I'll show you. So in this one, that is the amount they have, and then each of their scores. So you can see it really is like a game, like a competition. The admin can see which of these groups are performing well and which ones are lagging in terms of engagement and activity within the platform. And then also if we look here at people, we drill down to user level by seeing who the most adopted people are. You can also filter that and search for a specific group. Let me show you these, let's say sales, and then immediately you'll see that this admin dashboard reflects only that sales team. That's the amount of adopted users now. This is the position of the sales team, and this is also the position of the people within the sales team in terms of this competition, in terms of this round. So want to hop over to what the end user see. Really important because our focus is so much on the end user when we talk about Gamify. So I'll run through this with you also and show you how incredibly useful this could be for an organization to drive adoption. First of all, without leaving the user's SharePoint portal, the user can see at a glance how many points they have, their rank compared to others with the same characteristics, their department's rank compared to others, and what next steps, we'll talk about that at the end, what next steps they need to take to boost their score. So basically, just to tell you this, Gamify is an innovative tool driving and influencing SharePoint end user adoption. Focus is on end user adoption. Different from any admin usage report, this tool is dedicated to end users and it drives employee engagement as well as pushes them to reach certain SharePoint goals that the organization is trying to meet. The end user can see how many points they have, their current level, how far away they are from reaching the next level, which department they are in. That's not Jack's surname, that's his department. There are 3 types of personas. A persona is used to profile the user based on their usage. So let me click on this drop down and show you what these different personas are. So first of all, engager is someone who rates content, likes content, follows content, or follows people. Then my explorer is someone who views content and performs searches. And then I also have my contributor, someone who writes posts, comments, uploads, documents, etc. A user's rank in each persona is determined by which actions and skills they have accomplished. If we look here at top explorers, there's me. So here under top explorers, users can see how they stack up against those others within their group who have ranked the highest in the same persona as themselves. If we take a look at top groups, here in the middle, this is where you can view the leaderboard to see how your group ranks. So this is where my group ranks, me being Jack. This is where my group ranks against the other groups in the organization. Then if we talk about top employees, on the other hand, is where you can see which of your colleagues are the top performers this week within the 3 Gamify personas. So you can clearly see here that the top contributor of the week was Amelia, top engager was Elaine, and the top explorer was William. And then here on the right-hand side, which is very neat, you can see the next actions you need to take to increase your score as an end user. Easily click on the links provided to get ahead of the game. Let me show you. For example, you might be interested in the following page. Let's have a look at that. Don't want to spend time, I just wanted to show you how that would be. The following SEO blog post has received many comments this week. You might want to join the conversation. So it keeps on motivating and pushing users to also adopt to this content. And in this most popular blog this week, ABC takes a look. That's just obviously examples for the demo environment. But what is really extraordinary is that Gamify will step up to your organization's motivation and adoption by going above and beyond usage reports for admins and actually focusing, as you can see right here, on the end user by understanding exactly what areas end users are lacking in, enabling users to be empowered and strengthen various areas, such as education, knowledge, self-involvement, and more, boosting employees' motivation and self-performance, as you can see here, and also promoting users' contribution and driving teamwork. So as you've seen in the demo, the end user as well as the admin can and must leverage this tool. The end user can see where they stand in terms of their engagement level, how they perform over a period of time, how they compare to their colleagues. And then the admin can see where the end users or departments stand in terms of engagement, how the end users or departments perform over a period of time, and also how one department compares to another. So really valuable information to be able to drive adoption and to help those not as active users and departments. Just a reminder to send any questions to the questions box whilst I continue going through the presentation. So to get back to gamifying gamification, to solve some of the most pressing SharePoint challenges, we've introduced Gamify, like I've just shown you, a new way to drive adoption and productivity through a gamified user experience. It helps you to make your activities, your content, and your users more visible within the intranet, and with an end goal of boosting SharePoint adoption and also productivity. So with Gamify, your organization can drive repeat visits to SharePoint to ensure compliance and communication requirements are met. Drive social engagement, create a strong social divider for the use of SharePoint, and continue being active. Gamification encourages collaboration and rewards it, and that creates a strong social driver for the use of SharePoint. Use recognition to reward contributions and drive employee adoption via badges, leaderboards, and tokens. Employee recognition can always be improved, and gamification can provide continuous recognition and drive employee adoption of and contribution to SharePoint. This, in turn, acts to create a cycle that will bring more people into using SharePoint as a key component in their work habits. Also encourage users with targeted user dashboards within SharePoint, displaying their engagement score, how they compare to their peers, and their best performing content and next step suggestions. And then improve onboarding and training processes with user score updates and next step suggestions. So gamification obviously will work really well in training, whether for onboarding or on the job. It can tie into any use of SharePoint. It's used through SharePoint. It can create a measurable increase in the competition of training tasks as well as the involvement in learning. So just to conclude this presentation, Gamify boosts SharePoint adoption so your organization can realize the many benefits of group collaboration and the self-development of employees, those end users. Going beyond a brief adoption project, Gamify lets organizations create lasting changes in behavior that pushes employees to seek higher performance in their daily tasks, as well as boost communication and collaboration within Microsoft 365. Great, so I'm going to check if I have any questions in the questions box here. We are going to be done much sooner than anticipated. I see just 2 questions here for now. Let me quickly take them, and if those are the only ones and nothing else comes through, then we'll wrap up the session nice and early today. So I see I have a question here from Rachel. What is the licensing for this? Good question, Rachel. So this is a SaaS platform, so a yearly subscription based on the number of users being tracked. I'd be happy to send you a link to the pricing page and get you additional information once we know how many additional users you want to track and target with these tools. And then Sarah asks how easy or hard is it to deploy. So what's really neat about this tool, it is designed for SharePoint, so there's no need for customization if you want to deploy or when you want to deploy. With our setup wizard, you can get it up and running honestly within an hour and already start to collect data. So those are 2 questions I have. I also wanted to just add that if anyone is interested in a trial, we do have a trial. We have a free trial as well as proof of concept for people who maybe want a longer evaluation or try more environments and features and so on versus the free limited trial. And I can definitely share more information about what's included in each. So I will send a follow-up email with some information also about the trial. And that is it from me today. I'm going to wrap up today's session. As a reminder, we have recorded this webinar and we will be sending out a recording in the next few days for you to share with your colleagues and those who were unable to attend. And we invite you to visit us at intlock.com to book your demo or that trial just mentioned. You can also tweet us at Cardiolog, join our readers blog at blog@intlock.com, or just contact us directly at info@intlock.com. A huge thanks to everyone who joined. Thank you also for those 2 people who asked questions, and I hope to hear from most of you really soon regarding that one-on-one demonstration for your colleagues or setting up that trial for you already. Have a good rest of your day and take care.